Hello and welcome to another episode of Panel on Panels, the podcast about all things comics and comics related. I'm your host, John Campbell. Joining me, as always, Mike Gorgoni.
Greetings, John.
And next to him, Mr. Donovan Eilert.
Thank you, John. I'm doing quite well.
He didn't ask, Donovan.
It was a subtext.
I was going to, but now I don't have to, so...
Yeah, I can read minds.
The beginning of our show is out the window.
That's fine.
Cross out all these notes here.
John, you don't have any notes. What are you kidding?
All right, give some illusion to the people listening.
We need to teach these people how the sausage is made, okay?
No,
Nobody wants to know how the sausage is made.
All right, we need to seem prepared at least. You know?
Oh.
Do you want to know?
Just
Do you want to know how the sausage is made?
I know how the sausage is made. That's how I make sausage every summer.
Oh.
Summer
He's Italian.
Yeah. Yeah. With a last name like Gorgoni? No, definitely not.
I mean, it makes sense.
No, that's very Irish, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you got the Gorgonis up in here in the hills.
All these gorgonis. Oh, the door.
Okay, now we're getting a little racist.
Oh, the door. Oh, are the Irish people a race?
Yeah.
Racist?
They're from Ireland.
Does that count as a race though?
Yeah, why not?
I don't think it does. It's a discussion.
Okay,
for a different
comic
day.
books, John. Comic books.
Today, well, we're actually not talking about comic books
Oh
today.
God,
which is
you're right. What?
Well, there's tie-in comics.
There are tie-in comics. It's based in comics. We're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ah, yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, which just aired its season finale a couple weeks ago. And we're here to talk all about that show in a spoiler-filled discussion.
If you haven't learned by now, we have no regards for your, I haven't seen or read a thing, so we're going to spoil the crap out of it.
This whole show, we've said this before, this whole show is a giant spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Like,
all...
we made a mistake by not calling it Spoiler Cast.
Yeah, we've talked about this. It should have been called Spoiler Cast, Spoiler Alert, We Spoil Comics, or just The Spoilers.
But no, it's because there's a comic book character named Spoiler.
I was going to say, isn't there a comic book character named
it's
The
Stephanie
Spoiler?
Brown.
Oh, yeah.
You remember
That's right.
Yeah, Stephanie Brown?
Daughter of the Riddler, yeah.
Not the Riddler.
Well,
Question Master.
sure.
Right? Question Master.
The knockoff Riddler, yeah.
He is a little crazier.
Question Master.
And she dated Robin for a while. She
Yes,
was Robin for a while. Then
while.
she was Batgirl for a while.
Yeah.
I have all of those traits, by
Yeah.
the way.
She has a Hank,
What is she up to now?
She has a Hank Pym level of changing names. Right?
She does not. Hers is authentic, and things are it's mantles handed to her.
My God.
Except for the spoiler. Where'd that come from?
That was created, but that was her first one. That's initially. I like Stephanie Brown. She brings.
I do too. I also like Hank Pym.
A whimsy. She brings a whimsy to the.
She does.
the group.
She's a good character.
And Hank Pym brings ants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Think
know.
about this. The Avengers without ants. Just picture that. No
We've
good.
talked about it on the Avengers
No good.
episode. I don't
I'm pretty
need
sure we've
ants.
seen 2 movies that prove that otherwise, John.
Well, if you look closely, there's some ants in
there's
there.
some ants.
There's
Really?
some ants, yeah.
CGI'd in later. Couldn't get real ants.
No, too expensive. So,
The Ant Farmers Union is just like
oh, they're a
super
nightmare.
tight.
Good
Yeah.
luck getting anything past them. Jeez. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is a show.
Also no ants.
No ants yet in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're still early, 2 seasons in. But this is a show about agents who work for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Whoa. Mm-hmm. The Strategic Homeland Enforcement
Intervention
Enforcement and Logistics Division.
Yes, it is.
Do you know
What
what?
does that stand for? Someone wanted a name that...
Yeah, what is
Spelled out S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody really wanted to spell shield.
yeah, exactly.
That's episode 1.
That is. That's in the pilot.
Which is a great pilot, by the way.
Great pilot.
Great pilot. You get Coulson lives. You get Robin Schabotsky.
Yes.
She's in the
The character
pilot.
from How I Met Your Mother is in.
She's
the
in it.
Yeah.
Her contract ended, and she came over to the other side.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how it works.
She gave up her professional news career to work for S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Shepherd Book.
Schabotsky, yeah.
And Shepherd Book.
Shepherd Book.
He's in that episode as well.
Well, I think, let's face it, an ancestor of Shepherd Book.
Oh, that makes more sense.
It makes a lot of
Just like John Casey is an ancestor of Jane.
Jane Cobb, yeah.
Yeah.
We're putting it all together
Sure,
here.
sure.
This is what the show is about, connecting all the threads that have obviously been in all these works the whole time.
Of course.
That's what my podcast is. Connecting the threads. Not crazy fan theories.
So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., created by Joss Whedon.
the Whedon tribe. if
Yes,
you
the
will.
Whedon tribe, yeah. Joss Whedon, Jed Whedon, and Marissa... Pronunciation on that.
I've always kind of said it in my head as Trackerin. I'm not sure.
I thought it was Tekenderon.
And I have never tried to pronounce it. I've just said...
How's it spelled, John?
That girl. That's what I'm looking up right now. But it's created by these three people who are responsible for...
Everything beautiful.
Yes, exactly. No, they're responsible for Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
That's what I just said, John.
Yeah.
Everything beautiful.
And Dollhouse.
Yep.
Love me some Dollhouse.
So it's spelled Tan...
Let me see it.
Charoen. Tankeron. Tankeron?
Tankeron?
I have no idea.
Tankeron.
I'm working with
We
Tankeron.
apologize.
We're big fans.
We are big
We're
fans.
huge fans.
But we do not know how to pronounce your name. And then she's far from the first person that we've had that problem with
That's
on this
true.
show. Get some more normal names, comic book people.
No, they can have their weird names, John.
What about
We
nicknames?
Just know that we won't necessarily know how to say them.
Yeah.
People don't know how to say my name.
So
John doesn't even pronounce it. Every week he mispronounces my name.
how is it pronounced?
Dunoven
Okay.
Oilert.
Oilert. Yeah.
So
That sounded very Irish. Oilert.
that's the thing. People think I was going to say this.
See, I didn't want to
a
bring this up,
minute
John,
ago.
but you don't pronounce any of the umlauts in my last name either.
Oh, no, I purposely leave. I don't pronounce the umlauts in anybody's name. It's just a
That's-
policy. I don't know.
As a matter of principle.
Yeah. I don't care for them. I don't recognize
If you
them as
read the
punctuation.
umlauts, it's Gurguni.
Yeah. Which is obviously very Scottish.
I think he's just clearing his throat.
Sorry, it's Mike Gurgoni, actually. Yeah. No, it's
we
actually
go.
just Mike Gurgoni.
Yeah.
So it was created by these three out of sort of spinning out of the out of the Marvel Universe in general, but it seems like specifically like the Avengers.
Well, there was a huge social media push after the Avengers to like Coulson lives,
Yeah.
hashtag Coulson lives. Like people were pretty in love with Agent Phil Coulson.
Absolutely.
Through Phase 1 to the point where when Whedon pulled a Whedon in the Avengers and killed all of our favorite character.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I think
Tara!
I think you're still upset about Tara. This is not the first time Tara's come up on
I'm
here.
sorry. She was my first big, like, you've killed something that meant something to me.
It makes no
It's
sense.
like the idea
to me.
that murder in general will be referred to as pulling a Whedon.
Well, killing a beloved character, I feel like, is
Yes.
pulling. You could either call it a Whedon or a George R. R. Martin at this point.
Yes.
Though he kills indiscriminately.
Yeah. I don't
Whedon
know.
goes after the ones you love.
Yes, that's true.
What's the joke? Joss Whedon and George R. R. Martin walk into a bar and everyone you love dies.
Yeah, exactly.
The end.
The end. So yeah, no, I think it feels like it's spun out of. It had to be. It couldn't have been a direct reaction to that social media. It came out too fast to me.
I feel like Marvel was going to make a show
Right.
like this,
Right.
no matter what was going on, but there was such a strong fan reaction to, like,
Yeah.
we want a Phil Coulson that... and this show was a perfect fit for that.
Right,
as
exactly.
well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do a TV show in the Marvel universe, I mean, setting it in and around S.H.I.E.L.D. makes a lot of sense. I think.
Also, the fact that Marvel Comics had introduced that character into the continuity, there's like, no, you can't kill this character. He needs to come back. We need to sell comic books.
True.
Secret Avengers needs to happen.
But so an interesting thing, we pull Coulson from the movie, so we're still in the shared universe, which this was sort of the first foray into television,
Yeah.
which is
The MCU branching out from just the big screen.
right. It expands into another medium, which is kind of cool. And by bringing in such a beloved character, like you said, we do that. But then we also surround Coulson with a team of new characters for people to fall in love with.
But here's the thing, especially talking a little backtracky with season 1, like we are, we weren't necessarily... I mean, I wasn't necessarily on board with all of these characters right from the get-go. It wasn't until pretty late in the game that I, was totally on board with every single one of these characters.
Sure, I mean, I think
even going into season 2, I was just like, I'm not sure about this.
I mean, I think like any TV show, it takes a while because you can't just automatically love everybody out of the gate. You don't know how the
Firefly.
chemistry is going to. I mean, yes,
They have a
100% love every character
They
right
have
out
a
of the gate.
quasi-Firefly level. I mean, at the end of that first
It's
episode...
definitely got there. I don't think it was necessarily there right from the get-go.
See, but that first episode, I mean, you love Coulson.
yeah, you already
You love
love Coulson.
Fitzsimmons.
I was going to say Fitzsimmons were the most instantly endearing characters.
sure.
And Sky. I really like Sky
See,
from the get-go.
Sky
She had
grew
that,
on me throughout the season,
Yeah.
but I don't think right off the bat she was...
She had that Whedon
Whedon lead.
quality to her. Yeah, the way she. I definitely saw potential there.
Sure.
both her and Ward, I felt like, oh, these
Ward
people
was
could.
so bland until and then at the end of the season, it made perfect sense when he turns evil. It's just like, oh, that's why he was the most boring character ever because he was trying to be the most boring character ever.
Okay.
One of Bridget's favorite characters.
Yeah,
on that
Ward
show.
is an incredibly interesting character.
Still, wow. Even after the end of season
Hey,
2,
As far as I know.
yeesh.
I can't falter for that. I mean, he is one of the most fascinating characters on the show.
Sure.
I mean, villains are more interesting, really.
She was watching the finale of season 2. I wasn't there. She texts me, "Oh, Kara and Ward, it's so sweet." I'm like, what is happening? What is happening?
So sweet. This like Bonnie and Clyde level. Let's kill everybody.
Does that in any way make you question your relationship with her? If that's her definition of a sweet relationship,
I am going
you
to
might want to look out.
I'm going to
Yeah.
have to give my answer off mic.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I don't.
We need no evidence, John.
Off mic, because she listens to this, obviously. She'll listen to this one probably. I know how much she likes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
She does like this show a lot.
Yeah. So, am I leaving any characters out? We talked about Ward. Oh, May. Yes.
Friggin' May, my favorite character.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
See, she's good. I like May.
I like
but
May too, but
Especially
not my favorite
in
character.
season 2.
Oh, I think
Like
they
he
gave her a
gave
lot
her
more.
She's
such
great
a
in season
huge,
2.
like a much bigger dimension of character going into season 2. Now, just her relationship with Coulson, I think, is a huge dynamic that I love.
It's so fascinating, those two.
Oh yeah. No, she's great. I mean,
Well, in the end of the first season, when she's been spying on him the whole time,
Like she's our James Bond. I feel like.
she's the most legit spy out of
Right.
any of the spies. Her and Ward, but Ward's now evil.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know if she's a James Bond. She's more like a Jason Bourne. I mean, there's a lot of kicking and stuff.
You're right.
I'm totally wrong on this one, John. I apologize. Too much kicking. To
way
be
too
James
much kicking
Bond.
to be a James
Bond
Bond.
would rip his pants.
It's true.
And we can't have that.
These
No.
pants cost $400.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so that was our initial team that was built around Coulson, and for the first chunk of the first season, they were going around solving problems, or dealing with people with
It
powers.
was kind of like a
or-
monster a week sort of a thing.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah, yeah.
This is fun. And every once in a while, we'd have like, oh, and Thor 2 happened. So here's this episode that
Sure, yeah.
kind of deals with Thor 2 a little bit.
I mean, they go to London and they deal with Asgardian problems.
Yeah.
There's
And
like couple cleanup scenes.
to be fair, the episode where Lady Sif shows up felt like way more of a Thor crossover.
There's two of them. There's one in the first and one in the second.
No, but
season.
the
but
one in
in
the first season.
Oh yeah.
If like that had been the Thor crossover, quote unquote, I feel like everyone else would have felt like, okay, yeah, this feels like a Thor crossover. Whereas in that first one that was like advertised as the Thor crossover, they were just like, and some Asgardian stuff happened off screen that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
Also, there's this weird Asgardian artifact.
Right. I mean, I think
It was fun, but it wasn't necessarily.
You didn't like the Berserker staff?
No, it was fine, but the way they couched that episode leading into it, because this was our first big foray into this is all connected. MCU.
it's all connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, though, if you were really going in with the "it's all connected" thing, for the most part, you're going to be horribly disappointed.
That's true.
I mean, aside from the Winter Soldier tie-in, because that directly affects S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true.
And Coulson
Yeah,
being a director.
yeah. I mean, like that stuff. But I'm saying, like from then on into season 2, it's its own thing now. Really,
No, it is.
I mean, we used the word Avengers in an episode, but
It was fun seeing where, like, in Avengers Age of Ultron, the hover carrier shows up at the end.
Yes.
And a lot of our friends going out of that movie was just like, okay, that movie was amazing, but where the hell did that hover carrier come from? And then the show was just like, oh, by the way, we've been working on this hover carrier the whole time. Here you go, Fury.
yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, sure, that was fun. But I mean, I'm saying it's more incidental things like that than like, oh, now Captain America's here or whatever.
Yeah.
you know?
We have yet to have a true, like, oh, by the way, there's Hawkeye. He's helping out this episode.
I mean, as close as we've gotten is Nick Fury showing up.
and he showed up quite a few times.
Yeah, he's,
Twice? 2 or 3 times?
He's been on 2 times. And very
Maria
much
Hill?
so in the season finale of the first season.
Yeah.
He played a big. Yeah, Maria Hill is somebody who's in it throughout.
Lady Sif has been in 2 episodes.
Lady Sif has been in 2 episodes. Yeah, but yeah, like we have yet to see Thor or Iron
That's true.
Man or Captain America or any of the
I'm excited
the heavy hitters.
I'm excited for the bleed over to go the other way. Like,
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
oh come on, Patton Oswalt in like Civil War would be so cool.
Okay, if Koenig showed up in Civil War, I would
Yeah.
be super happy.
I mean, I don't
And
think
it doesn't
it's,
have to
I
be a
don't think
huge thing, but
Yeah.
like,
Oh no, I think
here's your lanyard.
yeah, exactly.
I think that's how what we're going to see is if we in that I want to see Coulson in a movie again someday, and I think we will.
I don't
someday.
know.
Because I think people are going to be really disappointed if all these years we hear, oh, they're all going to be connected, and the most we see is like, well, in Daredevil they talk about the incident, and in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. occasionally they pick up a mess, but like we want true crossovers, which I'm sure is a logistic nightmare, but I don't care.
I don't actually think it is much of a logistic.
Really?
I mean, why would it be?
NBC is owned by Disney, yeah?
ABC.
ABC, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess,
Everybody's working.
All hail the mouse.
We're all working
All
for the
hail
same
the
company
mouse.
here. So it's really just a matter of somebody going, you go over there.
Right. And like
Clark Gregg, show up at this time at this place. You know, I mean,
sure, budget constraints, I'm sure, for the TV show is a thing, but for the movies, not so much.
sure. I mean, and I mean, it's the other thing is with the TV show, it's harder to get somebody like a Robert Downey Jr. just because of scheduling and stuff like
Right.
that. But I'm sure you could pull Clark Gregg or one of the other agents away to do a scene in Civil War or something.
The reason I don't think I see Coulson ever showing up in any of the movies, because we know that there's a whole faction of people out there who are only experiencing this through the movies, and that's it.
Yeah.
They don't read blogs online. They don't read any spoilers. They don't read comic books at all, really. They definitely don't watch the TV show. They go to see a cool superhero action movie. So in the first, phase one, we got kind of like Agent Coulson was kind of a background character who we all kind of grew to like, oh, it's Phil Coulson. That's nice to see him again. And he's slowly growing in screen time.
Yeah.
And then in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or in Avengers when he dies, we're just like, oh, that sucks, but he's not really an important character per se. So it was okay when he died just so he could rally the Avengers. So to have him show up in a movie down the line, I feel like might take away from the impact of that first movie. Thematically, if you look at him like as a trilogy,
Well,
like to have him show up in Infinity Wars, I feel like would be really weird.
I don't think so. I mean, number one, we know he's alive, but
Yes, we as the super fans, sure.
But at the same time,
I think the public knows he's alive. I mean, knows the show exists.
See, when you say public, I don't know.
I think they know this is a major network show. You've seen promos for it.
Sure.
You've seen posters for it.
Yeah.
But two, you don't just go like, oh yeah, Coulson's back, whatever. You make it like, oh my God, Phil Coulson's alive. The Avengers don't know he's alive. So if you as an audience member don't know he's alive, then you can present him in a way where this
that's
guy's
true.
back. And he's just as much a surprise to the characters.
Kicks Thanos
as you
right
would
in the
be.
nuts.
I would love it.
that's what I want.
If anybody has to, Phil Coulson.
Just a running, just starting kick right to the groin.
Let's do it.
He's stunned. Get him, Avengers.
Credits.
Credits?
Yeah.
That's the end of the first Infinity War?
That's the end of the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Phil Coulson nut-shotting Thanos, and the
Thanos-
Avengers just getting up on him and kicking him to death.
And then they just brush their hands and walk away.
High five.
As credits roll.
High five, freeze frame, credits roll.
Yep. And we never make another Marvel movie. It's the end of the universe.
Wow. All right, I'm in.
That's how we shut it down.
Now, here's the real question, though. What emotional 80s song does the credits roll over the freeze frame with?
Oh,
Because I'm thinking Rick Roll. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
yeah, that's pretty
What
good.
about... No, I don't know if it works, but The Boys Are Back in Town would be pretty awesome.
That's
Yeah,
not bad. That's not
yeah.
bad.
Just love that
Yeah.
song.
Something like Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Just some kind of like power ballad.
Right.
Like, yeah, we did it. So
I'm there.
So season one, we talked. It was sort of case of the week because what they were really doing, we find out later, is
Was
that
treading water.
They're treading water until they got to Winter Soldier when all the shit went down. You know.
P.S. Hydra's back.
See, I
Right.
never felt like they were treading water with all the Coulson alien
No.
stuff.
No,
See,
no.
that was like
No, I think they-
the main vein that went through that whole series.
They had threads, but one of the things I know that I've read interviews where they've talked about is that it was very difficult to do a spy show where they couldn't have like infiltrators and stuff because that was obviously going to become the big deal. So this whole idea about like there were no double agents initially, and, you know, they weren't dealing with internal conflicts within S.H.I.E.L.D. so much because that was going to end up becoming what the whole show was about.
Right.
And that's very difficult in sort of spy stuff.
I think it shows. Having gone back and rewatched season one, I feel like the first half of that season, or like more like 2/3, really, it feels like that show is kind of in hindsight, waiting for something to happen. There are some fun episodes. There's some good stuff that happens.
I mean, it's never bad.
Right. But as soon as that
engaging.
turn happens, in that episode, turn, I believe,
Yeah.
when you just go, oh my God, what is happening? That's when that show goes completely into like 100%, this is the show now.
Yeah.
And since then, it hasn't stopped being great.
Well, I would say, though, that I think it turns into... It's more connected to things like Winter Soldier and stuff like that. I don't think it's till season 2 that it really becomes its own identity.
Yeah.
Like it forms its own identity
agree with
in
that.
season 2, which is
Definitely.
primarily what we want to talk about here. So we
Yeah.
sort of leave season 1 with the Hydra stuff. We have
And it's definitely still a very strong thread in season 2.
absolutely, but I mean, we leave season 1 with sort of our central supervillain in Bill Paxton.
That was a great, like, and he's being reborn as a Deathlock, and then just like,
Yeah, blown up, which was awesome and very much in that.
which, oh man, that was another great thing about season 1 was the building of Deathlock.
yes,
Oh yeah,
Like
the
introducing
centipede stuff to the Deathlock program, like all of that was
like
so good.
when I
Played
figured
by-
when I was slowly figuring out that they were introducing Deathlock, I was just like, "There's no way they're doing Deathlock. Deathlock is a super weird character."
No, they did it
But
without
they did
any-
it, and it was awesome.
with no
That
incident.
one shot where they're kind of like have the X-ray camera looking around,
Mm-hmm.
and they just like show Deathlock's face, and it's got the metal face and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
one eye, and it's like, "Oh, that's Deathlock."
Yeah.
James Gunn, thank you.
What?
Isn't that his name in Angel?
I think it's just Gunn. I don't know if they've actually did they
I
say
they gave
Ja-
him a first name.
Did they
his
give him
first name is
Because I
James.
know he's named after James Gunn.
I don't think it was James, was it?
The character is named after James
Sure,
Gunn.
but I don't think the character's. It's J. August Richards. Is
I was just going to say,
it's the
played
name
by
of the
J.
actor.
August Richards.
Well, I mean
from
that's
Angel, who's
maybe important.
Who's
I'm
a
pretty sure it's James Gunn.
He's
though.
a Whedon alum.
yeah, he's a Whedon alum, and as we know, Whedon loves to use the same people frequently.
I
throughout.
realize he's in his own show now, but the fact that Nathan Fillion hasn't shown up on this show yet is a little disappointing. I'm sure we'll get there.
How much longer do you think Castle's going to run, John?
I think this is going to be the last season of Cast.
There we go.
Ooh, there we go.
Freed
Season
up.
3 of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Second Doctor Horrible.
Charles Gunn.
Charles Gunn, that was it.
Well, it's an
This is
honest
character in
mistake.
Angel.
But yeah. Deathlock, a hugely awesome part of the and I think I said this when the first season ended. I'm like, is he walking off into a spinoff? Because the way he leaves, he's like, I have to go and right
There
the
were talks
wrongs
about
out.
this spin-off happening this season where it's like, oh, there's
This
going to be a
season.
spin-off show of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I was like, so it's going to just be the Deathlock show, right? Because that's what is clearly what's going to happen.
No, apparently.
And then when they were talking about, no, it's going to be Mockingbird and Agent Hunter, who's one
Yeah.
of the new characters. And I was just like, what? Really?
Yeah, I don't.
I heard
want
talk
that.
about
Don't really want-
Inhumans one and a talk about a
There is another Marvel TV
a
show
May.
being developed.
Right. That is
an
shrouded in
Agent
mystery.
May show, which
I don't really want to see that. I don't.
No.
want to see
I
any
love
of
her
it.
in context of this show.
Absolutely.
No, exactly.
I like all these characters in context of this show. I don't need. That's why I'm like, don't break up the team.
Right.
You know, like on a Star Trek show. Yeah, Bones is great, but do you really want to see Leonard McCoy, country doctor in space? I do
Whoa,
kind
wait,
of now.
wait. Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
Never mind.
It's
I-
like
Hold on,
Dr.
John.
Quinn, Medicine Woman, but in space.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
take it back.
Dr. McCoy.
I take it back. I'm going to go write that show. That sounds great.
but that's like one of the exceptions.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like
You wouldn't want to go see a Scotty show.
no, that's what I'm
What?
saying. Like, you wouldn't want to see
Wow.
a Chekhov show.
Okay, that's better. You're right. The Scottish show, I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like,
He gave her all she got, and then he went home and he ate a sandwich.
What it is he goes home and people like remember from this thing, but he wasn't able to perform once, and he has to live with this for his entire life. So it's like a drama of like, what do you do after the Enterprise, right?
how do you follow up the?
He goes-
well, you could do that with any character then.
But I mean, he goes to like a fishing village in Scotland, his hometown. Everybody thinks he's a big hero. He's got this.
You've
you know.
thought about this way too much.
It's. I mean, I'm just thinking about this for the first time.
It's pretty fully formed, man. I don't know. So episode
who's his love
13 is
interest?
this.
I can't say.
He's a-
That's the end of the season.
We got to keep that under wraps. Yeah,
Okay.
he's got 5 seasons of this thing planned out.
Yeah, end of the first season, he gets his love interest.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an ensemble piece. And
Yes.
to start pulling pieces from that is just going to damage the show itself and potentially damage whatever that other show is.
That's one thing that Whedon has always excelled at. And I know, like, he's not Joss Whedon isn't necessarily as hands-on with this
Not
show.
on a day-to-day basis by any means, no.
But the other of the Whedon tribe have definitely proven themselves where Dollhouse was concerned and where Dr. Horrible is concerned, that like an ensemble cast is something they excel at.
Well, and several people, I mean, a lot of the writers on the show do come from things like Buffy and Angel and stuff as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of Whedon alums in there anyway who have, he's passed on a certain way of doing things.
Come, my children, let me teach you my ways.
Because even though it isn't run by him on a daily basis, it definitely is like of the ilk of the other Whedon shows. Like it feels very Whedon in his voice and its sense of humor and the way it tells stories and the way it deals with ensembles. But yeah, I think so. We're talking about the second season. I think we really see the show come alive as its own thing, and through that also
the season where I start to really fall in love with Skye because of her dynamic as an agent and seeing her within this organization, and the interplay between her and all the other agents, and these agents between Hydra, that is still a clear and present threat.
Yeah.
I
mean, love that episode.
The fact that it becomes a spy show, you're right, is where the show really excels.
Where Simmons is infiltrating
it starts
Hydra.
becoming something more like Alias than like an X-Files.
Very much so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think. I mean, and also the idea of like S.H.I.E.L.D's been reduced to this. We're operating out of a basement, basically. You know, we're trying to do the best we can with limited resources. Inherently makes it a more exciting show because it's like, well, how are these people going to do it? They've made them the underdogs. They're so mismatched against what Hydra has so much power at this point. And like, how do we
not only Hydra but also like the American military when we have General Talbot coming
out. You've got stuff like that.
That was
a
such
great
a
character.
weird, like, really Talbot? Okay, why not?
It plays really well though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things that was good about choosing Talbot was like there's not a ton of baggage around him. If you bring in Thunderbolt Ross, and you've got a lot more. But Talbot's like, oh, you either know him or if you don't, he's an angry military guy. I got it, you know. I think they've been really smart about what characters they've pulled from the comics, and I know I can only give them so much credit because some of it is they're really not allowed to use like some characters because like, well, 7 movies from now that guy's going to be important, so don't do anything with him.
But Absorbing Man, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Or Talbot or any of these other, or like Mockingbird, right? I mean, Mockingbird is an awesome character who is
which kind of surprised
this
season. They never once said that.
Did they not call her Mockingbird?
I don't think so, no.
She's just Agent Morse?
She's pretty awesome, though.
She's really awesome.
I really like the addition of Bobby Morse.
TV
great.
Black Widow?
Yeah.
I thought May was TV Black Widow.
No,
she
I
was
think,
going to be
I think
until
Mockingbird
came through.
definitely has filled the Black Widow. I mean, she's different, but she serves a similar purpose.
Kick-ass female spy. We're starting to get those by the handful in this show, which I love.
We have a lot just across the Marvel Universe in general.
I mean, in that, was it the last episode or the second to last episode, that action sequence with Skye when she's inside the like ship, the carrier ship, where she's like taking out guys left and right, and it's just like the focus shot on her, following her around the room, and she's like shooting people, using her quake powers, punching people in the face, whipping around. Like, it was such a cool action shot for that show.
Oh yeah.
It was very River versus the Reavers.
Or like anything from Daredevil.
I guess that happened too.
I definitely feel like the fight scene, like the action stuff on the show, is really well done for a network TV show.
There were a couple of really good action sequences.
I feel like they've upped the game this season even, and maybe that's in response to Daredevil in some way. Because I mean, it's just like, geez, they're going to make us look bad if we don't also have people kicking ass like that. But there's all kinds of cool stuff that's been going on this season. I mean, obviously. Probably the biggest deal this season is Inhumans.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that they went so hard into that in the second half of the season was a complete surprise to me, quite frankly. I thought they were going to be tiptoeing around it the whole time, and like everyone who was in the know was like, oh, I know what's going on. But they literally started calling them Inhumans by the end of the season.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think, because I think we talked about, obviously they're going to make an Inhumans movie. But
years from now, though.
Yeah, but also Inhumans is such a broad thing. Like none of the Inhumans are in this movie.
That's true. We don't see Medusa. We don't see Black Bolt. We don't see
Lockjaw.
nor do we even allude to them in any way.
Right.
Or anything.
Attilan is never mentioned.
Or anything.
Attilan? How would you say that?
Was
the Inhuman City. What do you call that?
I call it Attilan.
Attilan?
Yeah.
Attilan.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've always just said Attilan. I don't know. That could be wrong.
Sure.
It's very tough when the stuff is written down. I always see these movies and I'm like, oh, I've been saying it wrong all these years. Okay, yeah. All right, that's how it's
Maybe
said.
they're just saying it wrong, and the creators or some are going, no, you're doing it wrong.
Well,
They're playing M. Night Shyamalan from Last Airbender. Well, no, I know how to say these.
We only have 3 years worth of a show to tell us what the pronunciations are, so don't worry, we'll get it right.
Well, we're sort of in this. It's more like the Roz versus Ra's-al-Ghul thing,
true,
where it's like I see this written, and some people say Chris Nolan says Roz, obviously. But
I
I
did
say
listen
Raish.
to an interview with Denny O'Neil, who created that character.
Yeah,
and the actual Sanskrit is
Raish.
yeah, it's Raish.
Everyone's
Raish.
doing it. It's Ros-al-Ghul.
Rose.
No, yeah, it's Raish because it's Egyptian, right?
Yeah.
And that would, so the pronunciation in that language
Is
would be
Raish.
Raish. Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. And that's
But we
coming,
also
that's
don't-
coming from the man who created it.
But we call Paris. We don't call it Perry. So at that point, it's like whatever.
I mean, it is whatever. But
You
it's
say
Raish.
Um, until the League of Assassins comes and chops your head off for mispronunciation.
I say give it a try.
Once again, the animated series said Raish, so I've always said Raish.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked. We get to the Inhumans, but first we do a more
Lots of Hydra stuff.
Yeah, very much a
Oh
Hydra
man,
thing.
Whitehall.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have sort of a central. We gain a new central villain in Dr. Whitehall, played by Reed Diamond, who's
The lovely Reed Diamond.
Lovely.
I like this guy. He's cool.
I've never seen that guy where he wasn't kind of just terrible.
He.
I mean, he's a great actor. He's a
Whedon alum. He's
He
in
is.
Dollhouse. He was in Whedon's Much Ado About Nothing as well.
Yeah.
Some people might know him from Homicide: Life on the Street, or the pilot of the S.H.I.E.L.D. These are the things I know him from.
Okay, there you go. Thanks for coming out on that, John.
But no, he's a really good character actor.
Yeah.
And excellent villain in Dr. Whitehall.
Oh yeah. The stereotypical Nazi scientist.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my one thing. Is his German accent? I feel like is a little.
You're very hard
He doesn't
on-
use it all that much.
You're very
There's
hard
like
on
one
German
episode
accent.
where we actually have him.
There's
doing
2 episodes, and
a German
again,
accent?
I just felt underwhelmed by his German.
I mean, okay.
I'm just saying. Hey, if I can say that Daredevil was too scruffy looking,
or that Kingpin wouldn't have made his own eggs.
we know that for a fact he would not have made his own eggs.
We know that for a fact.
It's been proven.
That's a fact.
It's been proven.
All right. You've done some science experiments that have
Yeah,
shown
there's-
definitively.
He can't hold a frying pan. His hands are too big.
Right.
He can't whisk.
He's got
He
that.
can't whisk.
Wilson Fisk can't whisk.
He's got that.
That needs to be a shirt. It's just Wilson Fisk attempting to whisk, and he can.
It
curse
doesn't
my
happen.
debilitating hand fat.
That's right. So it's been scientifically proven.
I'm sorry. Something about the rhyming
That just
scheme
broke
of,
you.
of Fisk and Whisk just got to me.
Fisk can't whisk. That's what all the kids would say on the playground. Fisk can't whisk.
Yeah.
That's why he went crazy. It's not because he killed his dad. It's because
No, it's his.
It was
he
the
wanted to go to culinary
Whisk
school.
taunts.
He got 3 days into culinary school. It was great. Day 4, whisking. Not gonna happen.
then he killed his culinary school teacher and everyone else in the class. So no
He
one would
burned
know.
the school down. That's one of the buildings you see in Daredevil. It's out of Hell's Kitchen, but he's like, I gotta take down this culinary institute out of spite. Nobody will ever know.
Oh God! Please let's get off of Fisk can't whisk. I'm gonna
So
keep laughing if we
another
do.
villain we have in season 2 is we didn't talk about this, but in season 1 it is revealed that one of our agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra,
Oh yeah, Beardy McTraderface.
better known as Agent Grant Ward,
Right, that guy.
played by
Beardy
Brett Dalton.
Or Trader McBeardyface. I mean, I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
But he's played by Brett Dalton, and he continues to be a threat in season 2. Although when we start, he is imprisoned in a very cool.
He's our
force
Hannibal
field
Lecter.
kind of yeah. Oh, very Hannibal Lecter-y. I mean, especially like the scenes between him and Skye feel very Silence of the Lambs.
Hello, Sky.
Because he's still. What's great is he's still got the spy training and stuff. He's still able to at least attempt to manipulate people and stuff
Oh,
in
and
that
he
way.
totally does.
Yeah, for sure. And so he's this sort of. He's not in every episode, but he's just this sort of ever returning threat. It feels like
He's in a lot of the episodes. I feel like.
I don't know. He goes away for chunks of time. It
Yeah.
feels like,
and then we're always like, what's Ward up to right now?
right. That's the thing. Where he's like the wild card in this whole scenario. I don't really because for a while I'm like, okay, are they going to try to redeem him?
And then he shows up, and you're like,
I love that they
"Whoa."
didn't.
right. I know, but I'm just like,
Or they
but it was
kind
very,
of. It seemed like they were trying to, and then it was like, nope, he's still an evil bastard.
Well, no, that's the thing, though. But it felt they were very manipulative with that, in fact, and you were
Right.
sort of pulled these different ways because you were almost being manipulated along with the characters because you're like, oh, okay, well, he's got kind of this tragic backstory, and okay, and we meet his brother, and that guy's a dick, and like, you know,
And then he kills him.
right, and his parents as well,
And
like
his parents.
yeah, he just like burns everybody to death because he's a psycho. Like,
No, he kills them first. He doesn't burn them to death.
okay, that's true, but he does burn
He
them.
kills them and then burns the house down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Come
that
on.
was too unfair. That's way better. I'm so sorry.
Bridget would be so
You know,
disappointed.
he's not that much of a monster now that I think about it,
Yeah.
actually. I
It's
misunderstood.
much worse.
But yeah, through that, and sort of we watch, by the end of the season, Ward has gone on this arc where he is sort of a supervillain by the end of it, or at least
As of
on
the end of the
path
season,
to-
he's going to try to become one of the new heads of Hydra.
Right,
He's
exactly.
assembling a
So-
team.
So we've almost seen like his arc this season is the sort of the birth of a supervillain, which
Yeah.
is always cool to see. If people really want to see it, they should go watch the movie Chronicle.
Yeah.
But that's off topic. But I love a good like origins of a supervillain and stuff. Daredevil deals with that as well too. This sort of idea about like
See, that's how I know I am in the minority here, but that's how I always viewed Dr. Horrible. Was this is the origin story of a truly abominable supervillain.
I mean, I think there's a part of it that's that,
Sure.
but I think it's more complicated than that.
No, it's true. Just like with Grant Ward.
Well, not that much more complicated with him.
Well, it's we're led to believe that it's more complicated than that because we have this whole arc with him and Agent 33.
Yes.
I forget the other like name for that character.
Kara.
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 Something like that. Kara Zor-El.
That's who it is.
Different show we might talk about in the future.
We're going to talk about that show.
all right, you're not gonna like what I have to say about it.
You haven't seen it yet, unless you watched the leaked pilot. It's online now.
I have not, but I did watch the 7 minutes of it that CBS released, and I felt like I have a good chunk of an opinion. All right,
It's called
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not another show that
John.
may start with an S.
New podcast called Reading a Book by Its Cover.
But yeah,
or the first 7 pages.
his whole arc with Kara really
Yes.
makes us feel like, okay, maybe he is trying to like be a good person. Sort of?
Well, or at least that he has a heart of some sort. That there's a
Right.
humanity to
He's
him.
not a
yeah.
sociopath,
Right.
as we are clearly led to believe by the end of this season.
Right, exactly.
Though then again, I don't know, because why else would be so determined to be like resurrect a head of Hydra because of the fact that he's not forced but kind of tricked into killing Kara, and that basically makes him angry, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's not a sociopath.
Wouldn't
He
it
doesn't
make you
feel
angry?
Yeah, but he's not a sociopath. Is what I'm getting at.
No.
Because he definitely feels something.
No, I don't think he is a sociopath. I think he does have it. I mean, this is a brainwashed man. We have to keep in mind as well. Like
Sure.
this is a guy with a tortured past who was brainwashed into becoming Hydra.
Sure.
Which we see very much displayed in the first season. So
He's freaking Nazi. Look, we're not Nazis.
right, exactly, yeah.
Not all of us are Nazis.
Which I really like, because I think I talked about that in our villains episode, that I'm like, Hydra isn't inherently a Nazi organization. I mean,
Right.
there were a lot of Nazis in it at one time, but there's less Nazis now.
Sure.
But no, so I mean, Grant Ward is a very complicated character in that sense. I don't think it's as simple as just like, yeah, well, he's a psycho. I mean, he is a psycho, but there's layers to that. You know,
he's like a psychopathic onion.
right, exactly.
There's layers.
Yeah,
Lots of them.
lots of them.
Though
yeah.
I will say that scene at the end of season 2 where he's like gathering those like skinheads to
Yeah.
be Proto Hydra, that one guy was like, "Hail Hydra" to that made me cringe a little bit. Like it was just like that guy being like, "Yeah, Hail Hydra, woo!"
Go Hydra! Yeah. I painted the Hydra logo on my truck outside.
right.
Right, we're doing this.
Like that's the idiot who's like he's got Hydra bumper sticker and like
Honk for Hydra.
it's about states' rights. It's not about racism.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
And
a
you feel
Hydra
kinda
logo
strange.
and a Confederate flag
Right.
prominently displayed. So Grant Ward's a very interesting character, but the character who became my favorite character of season 2 is Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, the great Kyle MacLachlan.
Well,
The
the whole
His,
Cal Jiaying
yeah,
dynamic.
I mean that, but
was
I'm just saying.
so fascinating.
I mean,
Him all through season. He was one of the few like constants through season 2
Yes.
in terms of the like antagonists.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, he is an antagonist, but he's not a villain in the way that like Ward is or that Whitehall is.
No,
He's-
that's why I use the word antagonist. John.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying good. Yeah, exactly. But that's what made him so interesting to me. I'm always fascinated by characters who are ambiguous in that way. Or I mean, he's a very tragic character.
Oh yeah.
And somebody,
well, we come to learn that through the large chunk of the season. We think like, wow, this guy's a psycho who will kill anybody and everybody to protect who he thinks is his little girl.
Yeah. But I mean,
who is this little girl?
It is, yeah. I
Right,
don't
yeah.
want to be misleading. That's true.
yeah, I'm like, when you said that, I was like, wait, did I miss a reveal
No,
somewhere in
no.
here?
Oh, John, you didn't see that?
But for the first half of the season, we kind of take it on his word that like, is Sky his daughter? We think she is.
Yes.
And we have Reyna's word, but she's not trustworthy.
True.
Which she's one of the great characters in the season too.
Yeah, definitely. But he's such a fascinating character because Mr. Hyde is from the comics.
Oh yeah.
And not that interesting in the comics, really.
He's kind of like a weird like rage monster. He's like
Yeah, he, like,
not
show-
quite the Hulk.
He'll show up in a Daredevil comic and wreck Matt Murdock's office because he's pissed off.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And usually he's trying to sell some mutant growth hormone.
Sure.
Like he's a drug peddler.
Which
while
I
he's at it.
really wondered how they were going to get around that, and they did by just going like, "Oh, it's just a weird thing he's got."
Yeah. I love when they rattle off like all the ingredients
Right.
in the last episode. It's like, by all rights, he should be dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that he had this, he had this whole backstory and stuff where he was like a normal guy who was a doctor, and then
Fell in
Hydra
love with
screwed
an
up his
immortal
life.
Inhuman who was then butchered and like taken apart by Hydra. You
Right.
know,
I mean, he was
that old yarn.
He was a monster created by Hydra, basically. I mean, not literally created by Hydra.
Oh,
but,
sure.
you know,
But if not for Hydra, he wouldn't have necessarily gone crazy.
he just seemed like we don't see that much of him, but it seemed like he was just content to live his life. And
Oh yeah, he would have had a daughter and a wife, and they'd have been
a
lived
nice
happily ever
village.
after in a village in China.
And when they that was when I really started to like this character. When they revealed that, I'm like, oh, I get this guy completely now, and I'm on his side now. Like,
Yeah.
Like when Coulson steals his vengeance at the end of the first half of the season, you're just like, oh, this will not end well for anyone involved.
right, yeah. But then by the end of the season, he and Coulson are fighting side by side.
Yeah.
which is also pretty cool.
It takes a while.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, it's not.
I will say I wasn't a huge fan of the Mr. Hyde like makeup, the prosthetics they had on him when he went all monstery form.
I appreciate what they were trying to do.
Sure, like they wanted to make a physical transformation.
Yeah.
I just feel like the way they went was a little too, I don't know, like hokey Frankenstein.
Yeah. I mean, I think that could be some
was
limits
a
of their
tiny
time
bit.
Sure.
and budget.
Yeah.
I
don't necessarily want him to go full CG like Hulk
Yeah,
style,
yeah.
but I feel like what they did was a little too like some guy decided to dress up as a weird thing for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you for Halloween? I don't know. I'm Mr. Hyde. I don't know. From the book, not the comics.
A very ambivalent trick or treater.
Exactly.
I don't know. You tell me what I am. I don't know what
exactly.
this is. I
Like,
put on. Some
What do you
stuff.
think I am? Yeah.
I grabbed some weird nails and some eyebrow stuff from Party City, and I figured you can figure it out.
What are you, Mr. Hyde? Let's go with that.
Let's go with
Okay,
that.
yeah. Yo, you got it. Cool.
But the that being said, yes, the makeup was questionable at best. But the heartbreaking scene of him having to kill
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
this woman who he's been, and his daughter as well. But fighting for, conceivably.
Having to like choose to protect his daughter by killing his wife.
Yeah.
Who in the last 2 or 3 episodes goes from maybe misguided, maybe not
To
okay.
straight up evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she takes a hard turn into crazy
Oh,
evil.
yeah.
And it's so good.
Another Whedon alum, by the way, Deacon Lockman, who plays
Dollhouse.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
I mean, she's terrific, but she goes from I'm not sure we want to mix to
she was in a couple
take
of episodes
everybody
in the first,
down.
Because here's what we have to say about season 2. I think has been left unsaid is that it is split into 2 distinct parts.
This is something ABC's been doing with a lot of their dramas now, is breaking it up into 11 and 11 halves.
It almost feels like
11
2
episode
separate
halves.
seasons.
Yeah, and that's basically the idea that they're trying to take a cable approach, because cable obviously only does 10 to 13 episodes or whatever. They want to create that immediacy, and by creating that little break, you basically do create 2 halves to almost 2 seasons.
Right.
And it speeds up episodes because you're heading towards a finale and then towards another finale.
Right.
Which I think was really effective on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season.
Oh, totally.
I don't really watch any other ABC dramas, so I can't say how effective that was on their other shows, but I can say it was very effective on this.
Don't watch Once Upon a Time, John?
Not anymore. I did. I
You fell off that bandwagon?
I watched the first 2 seasons of it.
Oh, really?
I fell off in season 3. Yeah.
Wow.
This is not a podcast about my problems.
No, it
with
is.
Once Upon a
Keep
Time,
going. Keep talking.
Once Upon a Time cast?
I just think they spent a little too much time in Neverland, and the story slowed way down. And you know,
Well, that's what happens. Time doesn't happen in Neverland,
Yeah.
John.
Whoa.
They're being very meta. Very meta.
I mean, that was the mistake for shooting on location there. You know what I mean?
yeah, and all the actors aren't aging, and you're like, come on, it's a couple years later.
Pick up the pace here. Everybody looks the same. No. But
Because that was the thing with her showing up in the first half of the season was... what's the character's name?
Jai Ying.
Jai Ying.
Yeah, Jai Ying,
I was like, oh, there's a Whedon alum, and she's in a couple episodes. That's fun. But then when she shows back up as...
well, because we just assume she's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Whitehall cut her up.
and put all of her organs inside of himself.
Well, and Cal leads you to believe that she's dead.
Yeah.
Later you find out he knew the entire time she wasn't dead.
I mean, that's another heartbreaking thought. He sewed her back together piece by piece.
And we know he also fed her people. Because she can't recover without, like, absorbing energy into her.
I mean, his love for her is really
vampire.
Yeah.
His love for her is really like his Achilles heel. I mean, so that's as much, and hence the what makes that such a great end to that is him having to kill her.
I felt like the more heartbreaking thing was the whole mind erasure thing at the very end.
I was just.
I
this
thought
is where
that
I was.
was-
heading.
I teared up a little.
Oh,
bit on
me
that.
too.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes of the whole season. I just thought that was a great scene when she goes and sees him, and he's a vet, and he's just and he's
His
like,
mind's been erased.
I
Yeah.
got
You look,
three.
he says something like "You look familiar" or something like
Well,
that.
because he's whistling the Daisy song too,
Yep.
and it's just
Yep.
like, oh no, it hurts so
Well,
much.
at first I thought he was playing along. Like, I thought it was like, oh, do I know you? Haha, you're my daughter. And then you realize, nope, he actually has no idea.
Right,
But I got three texts from Bridget during the season finale.
Okay.
I already told you the Grant Ward,
Right.
Kara one.
how'd that end for her?
The next one, I think she moved past it, but just like
She got over it.
She in
It's
the
all right.
moment
She's
was
all
like,
right.
"Oh, this is fun." The next one was, brainwashing, genius. That was the whole text. And then the third one was, "Wouldn't those kill the fish?" Plot hole. That was the three texts I got.
Wow.
Which I'm like, I don't know if Terrigen, does it affect fish?
No, I don't. Obviously not.
When it's diffused through water, it's safe.
I'm pretty
See?
sure. I'm pretty sure plot hole is not.
That's her favorite term right now, is to throw out plot hole.
Yeah.
In a show.
I feel like plot hole is very overused by a lot, like just viewers in general.
Well-
plot hole. Well, no.
Next time you got to say, "Excuse me, I got to use the plot hole for a second."
I'm gonna step
We're
out
out
of
of
the room.
paper in the plot hole.
That's going to be a thing.
Yeah, we're hashtag plot hole. But no, I just thought that was a very. They were all in the later half of that, which means she was very intensely watching the first part of it. But also, like back to back, was like, oh, that's cute, and she thought the brainwashing was like a genius touch, and it's a nice redeeming quality for that character because he's going to carry that with him forever.
That's really the most interesting thing about it is you're talking about how heartbreaking it is, but it's also like a happy ending in some ways. Mr. Hyde becomes a
he
good
takes
guy
care of
again.
dogs.
I feel like that also opens the door for him, like finding out that his memory was erased and getting re-pissed at S.H.I.E.L.D. again.
I don't think.
Identity crisis.
I would be really surprised if they went that way.
I don't know. I'm just saying the door's open.
Well, but also Kyle MacLachlan's got to go do the new season of Twin Peaks. So
Sure.
Is that happening?
that is happening.
Oh.
Yes, it is, and he's back. He showed up at the Showtime upfronts and served coffee and cherry pie to all the critics in the audience.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Coffee and cherry pie.
Damn fine pie you got here in
Damn
Twin Peaks.
fine pie.
That's so. So he's not going to come back at all then.
I don't
Presumably.
no time soon.
Okay.
He's also busy being the mayor of Portland as well.
Yes, I knew him from something.
Yeah, of course.
Great Portlandia reference. He's in a band. He plays bass.
Yes, he does.
Oh, that's one of.
No, Kyle MacLachlan is my MVP of this season.
Yeah, he was definitely up there.
Yeah, I know he was. I think we talked about this on one of the others, but he was the favorite amongst the writers as well. Favorite character to write for the writers.
It's not as fair because you get the running start from season one, but fits in this season.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like especially the first half when he's such a wreck. My gosh, any scene that guy was in, it was just perfect.
It gave that character such a new dynamic. I feel like it really refreshed that character.
I was gonna say, like in the first season, he's this very delightful presence, but he's sort of like your tech guy, if you will.
He's the comic relief tech guy.
But yeah, he's like a Q or like any of these other, like Marshall from Alias.
Him and Simmons, I feel like were a little like, yeah, they're kind of the tech guys together, and they kind of they're fun.
I love those guys.
And delightful, but they're not necessarily really interesting characters. I felt like in season 1 all that much
until they get thrown into the ocean.
Until they get thrown into the ocean.
Yeah. Well, there was a certain point in the first season when it was like you start to realize that Fitz has feelings for Simmons. When I was like, they're not already a couple,
right?
I mean, it is like you are an idiot if you don't see that this is clearly a
they're focused on other things like saving the world.
But I mean, like
science.
They're so close with one another that it's
oh my gosh, and it's heartbreaking. Like every time they misfire, they don't quite get.
This show is very heartbreaking. We've said that about many things, and it's all accurate. But I'm just saying, like,
but man, the Fitzsimmons, like, I'm so invested.
Me too.
I've been invested in that forever.
Yeah. Well, I said they were the first two characters I was
really
initially
expanded
drawn
on
to.
those two characters. Like season 2 did such a great job of expanding and giving more depth to all of the characters in such a big way that it. While first season felt a little water tready, some of the characters felt a little bland. It totally justifies everything that happened in season 1 leading up to what we get in season 2.
Well, season 2 does something that's a good thing that any like second chapter or something does, which is it takes away everything. It breaks stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you reduce S.H.I.E.L.D. down to a bunch of people into a basement. You split up Fitz and Simmons for the beginning of the season, and you take away Fitz's, but you take away Fitz's intellect as well, like his ability to communicate.
Sure, and you have him talking to imaginary Simmons.
Right.
Oh
yes,
my
of course.
gosh.
Yeah.
When you realize that that's imaginary Simmons and she's been at Hydra the whole time.
There was a funny
my mind.
thing that was pointed out to me online was
so good.
The outfit she's in as imaginary Simmons is the same outfit she's in which episode? With the crazy electric guy in season 1.
Oh yeah.
Where
the one the one that's in Portland, right?
No. The guy who can like phase in and out of reality.
Oh, you mean
like Zat or something is the name of the episode?
He's the guy who's like the static repercussions of the horrible explosion at the plant.
Right,
he's
right.
like,
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
it's called. I think is the episode name.
Yes.
Or the plane goes down.
It's
Right.
I think
That's
it's
right.
like ZZZZT.
is the name of the episode, right?
Yes, I know which episode you're talking about.
But she's in the same outfit from that episode.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that was an interesting point.
That's a great episode in the first season as well. I think one of the before they get
Before the Hydra turn.
yeah before that stuff, because that really does do a lot with the Fitzsimmons
Yeah,
relationship.
exactly.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Because that was one of the episodes where they were so close together and
Yeah.
where you started to realize, like, oh, Fitz totally has a thing for her.
Mm-hmm. After I realized that they were not already
Right.
because okay.
So, like, that's his ideal version of her before she goes off and does her own thing.
Right, yeah.
Is an interesting point.
Yeah, no, I think, both of those. I mean, all the characters, like I said, have been served so well. We should talk about some of the new. We talked about a few of the new characters, but we mentioned Mockingbird, but there's also Agent Hunter.
Here's the segue into that.
Yeah,
Best team up: Coulson, Fitz, Hunter.
Yes.
Like I didn't really care about Hunter that much until he's now with Coulson and Fitz. Like
There
he's
was
the
a
gap
great
between them.
poster I saw online. It was some fan art of like a rework of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly poster with those three, and the slug line is, "We may be spending too much time together."
Oh, it's
One of
so
my
good.
favorite
and like in 2 episods, they go from like, okay, they can work together to like, oh, they have a past, they have a history, like already.
These are the three amigos.
Yeah, exactly.
one of my favorite lines in the whole season is when Fitz is in that diner and there's the S.H.I.E.L.D. people following him.
Yeah.
And he goes into the bathroom and he calls Hunter and he's just like, I need to lose this tail. And Hunter goes, all right, is there an air dryer in the bathroom? And Fitz is like, yes. He's like, okay, we're gonna get you out of this.
You're going to be just fine.
You're gonna be just
But they don't tell you any more about it. It's like,
And then the next episode, we don't even see the repercussions.
Well,
of
that's
that.
what
And then-
that's about
then-
the kind of time I really started to like Hunter too, where it's just like he's the guy who can get you away from a guy with an air of some sort. Yeah.
Well, and then there's the next episode where Fitz disappears off the roof, and they're really inside the invisible Quinjet,
Which is awesome.
And the guy runs
Ooh,
into
he's
it.
gonna have a
and
bad
they're
time
like,
with that.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like again, you see Fitz going from like emotional and mental wreck to a legit agent in a few episodes, to the point where he's like ready to gear up and fight in the season finale. Like he's ready to go to war.
One of the coolest fights is that fight with the when they're in the
Gordon the
Gordon.
teleporter.
Yeah, and they're
man.
He traps them in that space.
Science. What are you gonna do?
that was so awesome. Yeah. There's so many great moments. In
Mac
the
is
season.
actually another one of my favorite new characters.
Yes, Mac was great.
Just the pathos in that character alone. It's just like being because there's a big subplot in the second half of the season, which is the other S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, led by Admiral Adama.
Yes,
Edward James Olmos. Yeah.
He was the perfect guy to be in charge of the other S.H.I.E.L.D. too. It's just like, yes, I would immediately follow him.
He's a guy who's great. He's been in charge forever. He was the lieutenant on Miami Vice back in the 80s. You know, I mean, like
He got promoted to S.H.I.E.L.D.
there's the guy screams authority. You know? Yeah.
I was
very quietly
not gonna
screams
lie,
it.
I was super disappointed when he died,
Well, I figured they weren't going to keep Edward James Olmos around.
and that made me sad.
Yeah.
Well, and Mac.
Well, we can't have two leaders.
I know.
Mac for me feels like an echo of Tony Stark. He's that genius. He's a tech genius. He gets touched by the alien, thing. He has a bit of a emotional response to that, and then he is like so paranoid of doing the right thing. You know, like
No, I
that's
can totally
his,
see that.
and
Yeah.
so far that he'll do things like chain Hunter to a toilet or to a sink. Like one of his good friends, because he's so conflicted about what's going on.
Well, and I love him just stalking around with a fire axe at the end of the the second season. When he's just like, what are we going to do? He's just like, he grabs an axe and stuff, and he's just like, I'm going to get out of there. I'm like, I'm going to follow that guy. That guy's got an axe, and he's a badass.
Huge.
He's
That
gigantic.
actor is just.
Which do we know
enormous.
if he's going to be back for season 3?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Because they hint that he's not going to be around, and then he comes
Right.
back.
But they do specifically say that he is still in S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of the season.
Well, and he owes Coulson favors after cutting
That's what
off
he
his
says. Yeah,
arm
that's
without
what they
asking permission.
yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, when they cut off Coulson's arm, I was just like,
Robot arm?
it's going to be robot arm.
You had made the comment about everything in Phase 2. Somebody loses a hand.
I know,
And this fits
right?
with
And this
Yeah.
even works with it.
Even Agents
This
of
is the
S.H.I.E.L.D.
dark middle chapter of the Marvel Universe, so everyone, like Luke Skywalker, has to lose a hand Empire style.
Yep, it's true. Taking a page out of Star Wars. George Lucas loves cutting people's hands off.
Just the twice.
Or just cutting.
No.
Just loves that a lightsaber can cut through things.
There's an arm cut in the first Star Wars movie in the
Yeah.
cantina.
Yeah, okay.
Then you got Luke. Then you got Anakin.
Okay.
All right, and then doesn't Anakin
Wait,
get his
hold
other
on.
arm cut off?
Hold on.
Well, he gets his arm cut off again in Jedi.
Well, no, he gets his. But I mean, doesn't
Wait, hold
Obi-Wan
on.
cut his arm off? Like he cuts his legs off.
He cuts
but-
both legs and an arm off.
and an arm, so he gets both of his arms cut off.
Ooh, right.
Wait.
And
when
both
does he
legs.
lose his...
Dooku cuts off his arm
In Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yeah.
This just became Star Wars cast.
Yep.
Scaramanga gets his arm.
We always knew it would.
I always knew it would, John. Maybe you didn't always know.
I know. I always knew.
But yeah, both Mac and Hunter were great additions to
Yes,
this show. I
very
felt.
much so.
And like
And
go-
Bobby.
Bobby
And
was
Bobby.
also really good.
Bobby's
like
great.
her whole interrogation thing with Ward was so intense.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
like
That
when they-
hurt so bad.
When they show like the picks underneath her fingernails, I was just like, oh god, this hurts to watch.
And just like how...
you can show this on network TV. Ooh,
Violence is no issue on
no,
network
of course
TV.
it's not.
And she takes the bullet. That was pretty
you
cool.
say any foul language or show anybody naked, we got trouble.
Okay,
But violence, perfectly fine.
sure, you can jam little slivers of metal underneath people's fingernails all
I
day
don't,
long.
I don't know if you've seen Hannibal on NBC, but
haven't.
my God, the things they're getting away with on that show are a whole new level of gore.
Wow. Good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks, America.
Yeah, go check it out, though. It's a great show, Hannibal. Hannibal's a great show. But no, yeah, that scene was great. And the thing with where he's got the door hooked up to the rifle.
And she jumps in front of the...
Yep.
That was intense.
The whole because in the comics, Mockingbird and Hawkeye sort of have this history.
Which I
where
thought would
they've
be
been
a
married
cool
and stuff.
thing to do, which they're not going to do.
No, but I feel like they're doing it with Hunter.
Yes.
I feel like Hunter is taking
There's
the place of
very
Hawkeye in
strong
that
echoes
sense.
of that.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
like
they were
Hawkeye
married.
more than I like Hunter.
Well, yes, I do too. But I'm just saying,
Hawkeye's a married man, Donovan.
yeah,
In this continuity, I guess.
yeah. But I'm saying, like, I feel like Hunter has taken up that aspect of the Hawkeye character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially where Mockingbird is concerned.
Absolutely. And the bickering ex-spouses.
Well,
kind of
that was fun when the Hydra
who still
reveal,
definitely have feelings for one another.
Yeah.
You know, you see this Hydra agent, and then all of a sudden she saves Simmons, and they jump onto the invisible Quinjet, and then it's
so
like
much jumping onto invisible Quinjets.
it's great
Because it's
a good
never not
device.
cool.
Yeah.
Also, they don't necessarily have to use the CG budget if it's an invisible Quinjet.
Yeah, you just got to make it the basic shape.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
And
then
actually-
she washes her hair, and it's like, oh, you remember Hunter's crazy ex-wife he always talks about?
Yeah.
That was an awesome reveal.
Speaking of invisible jets, Adrian Palicki played Wonder Woman in a pilot that didn't get picked up at NBC.
I now seeing her in this, I kind of think that she could have been a great Wonder Woman.
I think she would have been a great Wonder Woman. What I've seen of that show, it would have been atrocious.
I've
There's
heard
stuff there's stuff that exists of that show.
Yeah, and it's really, really bad. It was David E. Kelly, so from creator of Ally McBeal, making Ally McBeal with superpowers.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they've
So we're getting that anyway with Supergirl, though, right?
Yes, now we're getting Devil Wears Prada with superpowers with Supergirl. We're back to that now. But
Sorry.
also,
But-
people might know Adrian Palicki from she was Lady J in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Oh, that's what I know her from. I would like this whole season. I was like, why is she so familiar?
She was also on Friday Night Lights. I didn't really watch
didn't
that show,
realize that
but,
show
but I
was
know that that's what she's most famous for. But yeah, she was in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
I watched the movie. I think I got it.
Yeah, I got it. Football and
Football and stuff.
Football.
Southern
and
accents
stuff.
and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, she's a great addition to the show.
best
her-
edition, Patton Oswalt.
Well, he came
More
in.
Comes in
Patton
at the
Oswalt.
I mean, he comes in at the end of the second or the first season, and you think, oh, this is fun. What a great cameo.
And then
And
he
then
has-
Ward kills him.
and he
Yeah.
has a legit presence as a twin.
Twins.
Yes.
How many of them are there?
So many.
How many have we counted? There's three so far.
Three at least so far.
But
I
I-
would say.
I believe
Maybe
it's implied-
four?
it's
there
implied-
might be that Koenig that was with him when he went to check on the helicarrier.
Yeah.
Was that a fourth Koenig?
No, I think that's
No, I don't think so. I think
that was before. That was
I don't
before
know.
this
That's the
season,
thing.
right? It was like a year.
All I know is in the one
Flashback.
episode where Ward has them all like on the bus, their big plane that they fly around in, and he sees another Koenig and it's just like, God, how many there are you? The line that they cut that Patton Oswalt said on Twitter, which I wish they hadn't, was just like, you'll see. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I want to see how many Koenigs there
there's a
will be.
lot, is my guess. Because I mean, I'd take it that there's a Koenig at every Shield base.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
which
there's-
is why he could be in a movie. It'd
Sure.
be great.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why he couldn't.
And
he
there's
goes-
tons of fan theories about like what he is, or just like, is he just a bunch of twins,
No, I don't think so.
or is it like life model decoys?
I think he's life model decoys.
Man, he's so good
He's
on
just
that
like
show,
the
though.
stock life model decoy that they put wherever, and he does the logistic kind of stuff.
hands out lanyards.
Hands out lanyards
I
on a
loved
case-to-case
it
basis.
when he has like the drawer full of lanyards.
No, he's great. He's because he's like the he's the nerd at Shield, the guy who's like, no, I will hand out the lanyards as they need to be handed.
He's
out.
the guy we would all be at Shield,
right? Exactly.
like behind a terminal handing out lanyards.
He's like the guy at the IRS
guy.
who loves his job. Like he's
Yeah.
legitimately so thrilled about being
Right.
in the
I
internal
think we've talked
revenue
about this.
system.
We'd be him, or we'd be Danny Pudi and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That one guy and Age of Ultron who was also in Winter Soldier.
Yep.
You know, just
The
one
guy
of,
playing Galaga over on the side.
Yep, any of those guys. We're one of the guys on the computers on the helicarrier.
Who can incidentally be killed with no regard for who they are.
Nope. Nameless Shield
We
agent.
add to the body count.
Yep, nameless Shield agent. So what's some other stuff we really like this season, guys?
Didn't
some of the
care
other-
for the. I really liked Gordon.
Yes,
Didn't care for Lincoln.
he was fine.
We're gonna get more Lincoln. I hope you brace yourself.
I
for that.
mean, it wasn't like I hated him, but it just was like, okay.
I mentioned this
I
a
don't
little
need
bit
you.
earlier, but the evolution of Reyna's character through season 2.
Yes, we didn't.
was super
I want to talk about
interesting.
Reyna.
Because she was all over season 1 as kind of like the henchman of the bad guys. And
Yes.
kind of exploring where that character goes after all the bad guys are dead is, I think, something super interesting. And you have the actress's name there.
Yes, it's Ruth Nega, who will be, now that she's not an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, she will be one of the main characters in the Preacher TV show on AMC.
Ooh,
so she's
fun.
going to another comic book show.
Cool.
I believe she's British. Who isn't these days?
She goes from like this.
John, I've got
She's
something
Irish.
to tell you.
She's Irish, actually.
Oh.
She goes from this like like you said, kind of underworld confidant, like yes man, to trying to do her own thing, really passionate about all the Kree technology and human stuff, to this like indispensable sage.
She kind of becomes
wisdom.
like a messiah figure at the end.
Yeah, almost. That if she wouldn't have died, like Sky wouldn't have been able to figure out what the heck happened.
Right. That whole last line was like, "And you'll never speak to me again," was just like, wait, what does that mean? Oh no.
She can see the future. That was one thing, and it was Lincoln who said it. Our favorite character at the dinners.
Don't drag me into this. I've got no problem with Lincoln.
Off mic,
I'm on board with
off mic.
this.
John was kind of Lincoln bashing.
Lincoln bashing. You know who else did that? John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, too soon.
Boom.
I don't know. I think it's just becoming popular.
Too soon.
Boom. And during the act break.
Yeah. Oh.
6 Semper Tyrannis.
Anyways, there's
You're gonna have to go.
Hail Hydra to that.
yeah, Hail Hydra to that.
Hail Hydra.
But the line, they're all at dinner, which was one of the best scenes of that second season, where like they're finally as a family together with Cal and Jai-Ying and Daisy /Sky / Quake. And
Daisy Quake.
And there was the whole like Raina's like, I'm having all these dreams, and she describes what's happening at dinner. And Lincoln walks in and he looks at it. The audience knows what's happening because they just saw the scene with Raina, and he goes, "It wasn't a dream." That's how he sounds in my brain. Just like
He doesn't sound like that to me, but that's all right.
60 points IQ test. Like that's
Wow.
Good
He's
God.
got room temperature IQ.
yeah. Like his
really
his
hate
IQ.
this guy.
No, I don't actually really hate that guy. But that line for me was just like, and you know that was the same.
That was a little hand-holdy.
Sure.
and it felt I felt betrayed.
It is network television.
No, that's where I also agree with you, John, is like, I don't think a lot of people are as quick on the uptake as some other people watching the
Then
show.
explain it later.
If you're shooting for the middle road, if you're shooting for the people with the Nielsen boxes,
Right.
you need those sorts of lines,
Yeah.
which sucks for some of the other people watching who are going, I don't need that line. I know what's going on.
But they could
But
have
I tend
displayed
to
that.
just brush that aside for the most
Sure.
part. It doesn't really bother me too much.
They could have explained that in so many different ways. He picks up a phone and calls somebody. He's like, "Those dreams Raina having, they're not dreams." In the next episode, they talk about it. But for him to like walk into the room and
say
out
it
loud,
to nobody else, yeah.
it wasn't a dream. Was just like
May had a similar line in her backstory
it's
episode.
the same episode.
Is it?
It's the same episode.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize. Whoever wrote that episode.
It
dropped
was
the
like,
ball.
"Don't worry, audience, we got you covered."
Where she like is coming to the realization where she has to like kill somebody to save all these agents, and she says it aloud to no one. It's just like, I'm gonna have to take her out. It's just like, no, we got it. Like the look on your face said everything. You don't need to also say it.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, there was some weakness there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, not too much though. I think
No.
still pretty strong.
No, on a whole, this season was amazing.
Yeah,
And that episode in particular also had like some of my favorite scenes, like exploring May's backstory, and the whole Bahrain thing was super like
Great,
oh,
yeah.
wow, that was really messed up.
written
No wonder.
by a guy named DJ Doyle.
Why do I know that name?
I don't know, but
DJ Doyle.
DJ Doyle.
He spins some mad rhythms.
This is the only show he's written for.
Okay, maybe I've just seen him on other episodes of the show.
Yeah, he's written 2
Oh,
I
there you
never assumed
or
that
3.
that a name DJ is like an abbreviation or a nickname for a
They're,
name.
they're a disc jockey.
I always assume they're a disc jockey.
Yeah, this is DJ Doyle spinning records all night long.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
All the stuff you kids are listening to out there in Radio Land. No, so Reno's an interesting character. I mean, Lincoln, I don't have a problem with. I also don't like him particularly either. I mean, he's fine.
He was one of the Inhumans that was highlighted in the end of this season.
I mean, he made sense. I saw why he was there from a story point. We needed a connection between Sky and somebody,
right?
within
that could be, not evil.
A bridge between the first half and the second half of the season we didn't talk about is Bakshi.
Oh
as
yeah, I
the,
always keep forgetting about that character.
The brainwashing and like puppy dog loyalty of Bakshi right before he's killed is so interesting to me. Like the fact that they're like, "Oh, you can't trust him. You can't trust him,"
Right.
but you legitimately can because he somehow now loves Ward.
And the fact that Ward has that power to do that to people
is just freaky.
It's way freaky going forward. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? It's that espionage thing that it's that skilled spy manipulator.
And
he was
he was the henchman of Whitehall through the whole first half of the season.
Yeah.
And then having him show up again later in season 2 as Kara going on her vengeance kick against the people who wronged her.
Right.
Which, when we realized that's what was happening with her and Ward, when we were confronted with them and Mockingbird, was just like, oh, this isn't Ward trying to make her feel better. This is Ward letting her kill everyone who's wronged her.
Right, yeah.
Whoa.
And the Bakshi stuff is also important because him stepping in the way prevents Simmons from killing Ward.
Yes.
Which obviously would have put an end to that whole plot line, but also, like, Simmons would not have been the same after that.
Can we talk about how weirdly, like, evil Simmons was getting near the end of season 2?
She did drink some water at Hydra, and I think that...
Well, she was going on we
use...
need to take care of these people with powers, like, right now.
I wouldn't go evil, but there was definitely... because she's operating out of a place of fear, for sure.
It's true.
And I think a lot of that has to do with... I mean, she was changed by the end of season 1 and her experience inside of Hydra, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They darkened her character up a lot this season. And, yeah, I mean, it definitely just felt like... I mean, it felt like somebody had to have that opinion. You know, I mean, like somebody would have that opinion.
I felt like that opinion being represented was, while maybe not directly, it was definitely some subtextual setup for something like Civil War. It's like, this opinion is very valid and kind of exists and might lead to something like a registration act.
It's a coldly, like, self-serving opinion, but like self-protective opinion. I mean, I'm saying, like, it makes sense, but it's also like, ooh, that's dangerous.
That is some dangerous territory. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it feels very much in that same line that, like, Winter Soldier does with this, like, preemptive strike against enemies and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we got to deal with this situation.
It's like, on a certain level, it totally makes sense, but on a surface level, you're just like, really?
Right. But, yeah, way too much of a gray area for somebody like a Captain America, who, as this podcast always stands with.
Speaking of gray areas and Simmons, her getting sucked into that.
Yeah, what was that?
There's a lot of theories about
what are you even hearing? Because I have no idea what happened.
I don't really follow these things, so
some of the theories are that she's like being transported. Like there's the living door in Attilan. That's like an Inhuman that, like, when he got turned into a big door and he can teleport them anywhere.
I mean, we figure she was taken somewhere, is what?
Yeah, not just straight up dead.
No, she wasn't eaten.
Yeah,
right.
No. I don't see that.
Is one popular theory that I read was just like maybe she got transported to somewhere where the Inhumans are at. But then they also say in the show that this thing can destroy the Inhumans. So I have no idea what this thing is. Classically, it doesn't look like anything from the comics. Really, it's like a weird.
It's a really cool design. The idea that it's solid and it's liquid. It's solid and it's liquid.
And is it are the holes on it like reconfiguring themselves every time it reforms?
I don't know. I didn't pay that close of attention to it.
I think it was like a weird binary, like it's showing a different pattern every time it reforms.
Well, then that could lead to something like a door where every time it's a different place.
Right.
Or something like Fitz figuring out that it's different and reading some code that it's some,
But they talk about how it's Kree, and if that's the case, though, wouldn't the writing be that weird Kree writing that we've seen this whole time?
Yeah.
Also,
there could be. I mean,
if it was Kree, why would it be harmful to the Inhumans?
Ways, yeah.
If it was Kree, why would it be harmful to the Inhumans?
Because the Kree, I mean, we get that in the second Lady Sif episode, is the Kree want to destroy all the Inhumans at this point.
That's true.
They were a mistake.
That's an experiment gone wrong. Horribly wrong. Yeah.
Which I'm really excited to see more Kree stuff.
I think
season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and in the Marvel universe.
This is kind of where I wanted to, as we wrap up this thing, I wanted to talk about, like, where do we think season 3 is going? Where do we want season 3 to go?
By Warriors.
I was just gonna say that's what I want. That seems
that
to be
is clearly what they were setting up at the end of the season. I feel like she was handed that folder by Coulson, being like, "These are some of the people we're looking at." Like those are clearly the caterpillars that will grow into the beautiful butterfly. That's the term they use in Secret Warriors, is caterpillars.
Yeah,
it's like these are the people that can grow to become powerful heroes. So we got to tap them now.
I mean, I'm going to be curious to see what that's like, though, in the context of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because the show can't become Secret Warriors. So
I think that's still going to be a large part of it, though.
Oh, I think it will. But
We've
I'm
gone
saying, like,
from this is the show about street level to this is the show about below street level.
Sure.
These are what's happening beneath everything.
I know, but what I'm saying is we already have a lot of characters.
Sure.
If we start bringing in Secret Warriors, I'm just saying, like, what's the show going to be like? I'm not. I mean, I like the Secret Warriors.
Are all of those people going to be main characters? I kind of doubt it.
No.
I think we're going to have some cannon fodder with superpowers.
Yeah, sure.
But there's always room for like new characters in every season of a show. That's how you keep things fresh.
Well, or you turn into season 3 of Arrow.
That's true.
Is that what you want, John?
That's the opposite of what John wants.
But something with the Secret Warriors would be really cool because I really like the Secret Warriors comic. But definitely I want to see stuff with the Kree, and I feel like that's going to be a big part of it because I feel like each season sort of has like their central, not individual antagonist, but like group where it's like we dealt with Hydra, and then we dealt with the Inhumans, and now season 3 could be about the Kree. You know?
If we get Kree, are we going to get Guardians tie-in stuff?
No, I don't think. I think you can do Kree in a way where it's not. You're not like the Inhumans. You're dealing with a faction of Kree. You're not dealing with the Kree as a whole.
That was the thing about Guardians is they weren't really dealing with the Kree as a whole. They were dealing with just Ronan the Accuser.
Right.
So we really haven't seen a vast representation of Kree yet.
Yeah, Ronan's sort of a loose cannon in terms
But
of
I mean,
Kree in general.
there could be loose tie-in stuff though.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I think something
like Xandar could be mentioned. We could get someone from the Nova Corp show up. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, I mean, but definitely taking it to a cosmic place makes sense.
But what we have to keep
sort.
in mind on like a just purely on the Marvel business side of things, season 3 we're going to see some kind of crossover or lead into Civil War.
Well, it's going to like with Age of Ultron, we're going to end the season will end around the time
Season 3 is going to end with Civil War.
Yeah,
I don't know the time.
Wait, with Civil War or with
Civil War?
Cap 3.
Yeah, because that'll come out in May, which will be about the time that season 3 is wrapping up.
Which
very similar.
There was technically a tie-in with Age of Ultron in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it felt like just like, oh yeah, that also happened.
Yeah,
it felt good. It felt
it felt okay. There was I cared about what was going on in the show more than like I hope they don't derail this whole show for what's going on in Ultron.
And they didn't. I mean, there were two things about it. One was he said where they found the scepter, and then 2 was we saw news footage of them,
and by the way, we were the ones who made the
Ultron.
helicarrier.
That as well. But I'm saying we did see the scene where it's like, oh, here's everyone being saved by the Avengers.
Right.
Yay, good on you, Avengers. Now back to our problems.
Right.
Now,
and that was cool when they found like the information that would lead the Avengers to the scepter.
Hey,
and it was just like, hey,
good.
pass this off to Maria Hill. Time to bring in the Avengers. You guys take care of the rest.
Yeah.
That
Very
was cool. Yeah,
very cool. And is the way they should be interacting with the movies, really.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not putting the show on hold then.
Dr. List was his name, was one of the Hydra like heads that we saw during the first half of season 1.
He's in,
and they're kind of chasing him around in the second half of
and then he's in Age of Ultron.
And he's definitely in the opening season with Von Strucker in Age of Ultron, yeah.
And Von Strucker's name drops multiple times throughout this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
definitely.
as well.
So are the twins, for that matter.
Yes.
By Hydra, like when we're
just as the twins, yeah.
Well, and they talk about like there's only 2 people to survive all of our tests that we've been doing, and it's
So I mean, they keep bringing up the idea.
So yeah, now that I think back on it, there was quite a bit of like
but it's just
cross-pollination.
Like,
but
they
it
said it's
good.
all really subtle in the background. It's just sort of laying threads.
It's not like the movies tying in where you have like there's characters in this thing and they talk exactly about this scene that happened in the movie previous.
or as something as universe defining as Winter Soldier where it had to.
But I feel like Civil War is going to be that. In some way,
to a certain extent, but maybe more in season 4 because we'll be coming out of it in a lot more of a way than.
That's true.
I mean, season 3 is going to be pretty much done by the time we get to. Like I said, it's going to be something more like this, where it's like it'll come out like, and there'll be like 2 more episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
So we're clearly not going to get any Ant-Man.
No.
Can't have Hank Pym show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I doubt it.
No, Michael Douglas is a bit too pricey for that.
Well, Scott Lang. He can show up a bit.
I think Paul Rudd might be a little busy.
Evangeline Lilly.
Maybe.
She's been on TV before.
She's been on ABC
So is Paul
specifically
Rudd.
before.
Some Parks and Rec.
Oh, that's right.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
Going
maybe.
into space.
Maybe, but I doubt
No,
it.
I doubt it as well.
So, yeah, is there anything else you guys want to say about?
There's so much more I want to talk about.
I mean,
the show.
there's a lot of the show.
It'll come up, but nothing specific.
All right. Well, cool. So as we wrap that up, we turn now to our recommendation segment where we recommend comics we think you should be reading. Donovan, do you want to start us off?
Yes. First, you guys know I don't like to toot my own horn,
But you've written a comic and
I recommend it for everybody to read it. No, I've talked probably too much at this point about one of my favorite series right now. I'll tell you what that is in just a second. Yeah, it's Archie.
It's always Archie.
But I have a coworker and friend who has been she's like, I want to get into reading some comics, but I don't really know what it is. I read some X-Men growing up. I don't want to do the superhero stuff. So can you recommend indie books? And
Sure,
I said, Sure, I have a few of those. Anyway, so I loaned her a stack, and she was like kind of burning through them pretty quickly. She started with Why the Last Man. She's like, that was really fun.
Awesome.
A couple in, though, she's like, I kind of lost interest.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, all right.
So then she hands me back.
I've lost interest in you.
Yeah, I guess
Well, she
so.
hands me back this big stack one day, and I was like, "How'd it go?" And she's like, "You know what? To be honest with you, like, I just think as like a medium, it wasn't really clicking as much. I just, she reads a lot of prose and stuff like that. She said until I read the last one in the stack.
Agree, but
Hang on. This took an interesting turn.
Until I read the last one in the stack, and I think that I could get behind this. And I said, "Which was the last one that you read?" Rachel Rising.
Of course.
Good Lord.
Oh my gosh! So just another
I can't groan too hard because I do love this series as well. But
good.
Me too, but you have brought it up so many times.
And it's successful. I mean, like, people who don't read comics are reading it and thinking this is pretty
comic.
great.
It's a
I'm
great
just
comic,
saying.
no question.
So thank you if you have read something we've recommended, tweet at us, write in, let us know, because we do love to hear that. And
Of course.
That's what keeps this podcast going. Is
that it? I thought it was our own will and defiance against, all the people saying comic books are for nerds.
No, it's thumbs up from fans and nacho cheese.
Oh,
that's what's keeping us going.
That's why you have that cup full of nacho
the combination
cheese.
of the
Always.
two.
I should tell you, we have spoons. You don't have to use the straw.
I don't use a straw. I just pour it in.
Then what's the straw for?
Don't ask.
Don't ask. All right. Anyway, so now to my recommendation.
Oh, it's not Rachel Rising?
Well, I do recommend Rachel Rising, and
No, that was just a great comic success story.
okay.
I was just saying, like, this is why we do this segment.
This is why
it's not just
folks. This is why we do this.
exactly that we're not doing this just for our own benefit. We're doing it for
God no.
people like my coworker. Anyways, one that
I've gotten into this for all the wrong reasons, guys.
you need to reevaluate your life, Gregor.
I was after the fame and fortune of podcasting. That's not what we're going
misguided,
for.
sir.
Oh
It's
no!
rough. I this last week read Black Sad.
Oh yes.
Which, if you have not read Black Sad, you need to put your eyes at that.
I saw a giant stack of that at Barnes & Noble the other day.
It is. Have you read it, Gorgoni?
I have not.
It is. Okay, so first let me get the
I am very aware of it. I just haven't read
the
it.
awkward bits out of the way. It is written by Juan Diaz Canales, and the artist is Juanjo Guarnido, is how I would say it.
Nailed it.
They're both they're both Spanish creators. So the artwork alone in it is
It's gorgeous.
perfect. I could pull any panel from that and just like look at it for days. It's so well detailed. Everything is gritty but clean and crisp, and it's anthropomorphic. So like you're looking at a man who has a cat head, and you're like, I want to be that guy. He's so cool, but he's also a cat person, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm buying in on it because it's just so beautifully rendered, and there's like a hyper realism even though they're animals.
Right.
I think you've opened the door a tiny bit into the furry subculture, Donovan.
Nope. That door is closed. That door doesn't even open. But then on top of that, you've got the writing it's a perfect noir story. I mean,
Yes.
like it is. They nail that genre of like the guy moving through the city, trying to help people, dealing with his own stuff, CD past, like every bit about it. I was just blown away, and it's published in. It's not like single issues. It's
published as books. There's 3 of them.
Exactly. And so like the first book that I got is 3 different stories, but they're like 60 pages a piece. I mean,
Right.
they get to tell the story however they want to tell the story, and it was just.
It's a Dark Horse book. We should also say.
It's published by Dark Horse. Sorry, reprinted. It was originally printed in French. I think.
Yes. I mean, it's.
But
in America, it's a Dark Horse.
It's a little bit intense at times. There's a little bit of adult content, but
I mean, in the fitting with the noir detective.
Yeah, and the Dark Horse.
And the
I mean,
gangster,
it's
yeah.
not. not by any means like shocking amount of
No.
anything, but my goodness, I wanted to reread it again. Like,
It's
right
fantastic.
After I read it. It's
Have you read
really,
the other? Have you just read the first one?
I just read the first one because I just picked it up, but
Yeah.
I've
There's 2 other volumes of it.
plans to get the next 2.
It's all really good.
Is it all just the? Because I've seen like
There's
the big
3
hardcover.
there's 3
and there are
hardcovers.
3 hardcovers.
There are
Oh, dang.
So the first one you
hardcovers,
want is
yeah.
Black Sad.
Yeah.
And then the
And
other
then
ones are subsequently have their own subtitles.
Okay.
But man, I mean, it was wonderful. It was really, really great.
It's great comic. Gorgoni, what do you got?
I've got one. I've talked a little bit on this show about Fall of Cthulhu.
Yes.
One of my favorite Cthulhu-based comic books. There are quite a few. But this one is kind of a weird spin-off of Fall of Cthulhu. Mm-hmm. It's called Hexed.
Yes.
It's written by Michael Allen Nelson, and the art is by Emma Rios. It takes one of the characters from Fall of Cthulhu. It's this young Latin American girl who calls herself Lucifer. It's Lucy Jennifer Ignacio das Neves, Lucifer for short.
Okay.
And she is kind of like a thief of supernatural goods, and that's what kind of draws her into the whole Cthulhu mythos stuff. But then she got her own kind of spin-off comic called Hexed, where she's just plying her trade in the supernatural community at large.
Yeah.
It's got some Cthulhu mythos stuff in there that's kind of like the fallout of what happened in Fall of Cthulhu, but it definitely opens up the world into more of like a magical, like, oh, there's so many factions going on and there's so many like weird things happening behind the scenes. There's this one really cool scene where she has to go steal a thing. So she has to create a portal into this weird, like, murky underwater territory. And to do so, she has to cut into a dude's chest to make a portal. So she goes, finds, like, the biggest, fattest cadaver she can in a morgue to, like, make a portal big enough for her to get into. And this is, like, cool, weird, like,
That's really cool.
occult stuff.
Yeah.
It's published by Boom, which also did Fall of Cthulhu.
Yeah,
but
they do all that stuff.
yeah, if you're into kind of, like, the urban fantasy and, like, the weird
People
occult
have thrown
stories.
Buffy around in relation to this.
Yeah, there's a quote from the Express Times in the back that says Hexed is the new Buffy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that far. It's
right.
still really, really good.
Sure.
Does Hexed tie in with Charmed at all?
No. In fact, it goes out of its way to say Charmed is the suck.
Really?
Yes.
That's the first page?
Uh-huh.
Charmed is the
Now that
suck.
that's been established, let's move on with the story.
Just getting that out of the way.
Yeah.
Moving
know.
on.
It
Yeah.
needed to be said.
I didn't know if it was like a trilogy that we were waiting for the
No.
last one.
Charm, text. What would the third one be?
Cursed.
Yeah.
Cursed.
Done. We'll take care of that.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. So my recommendation this week is the new volumes of a character who I feel is not spoken of nearly enough as an awesome Marvel character, and that's Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
John,
I've actually
said
heard-
this before. I love me some Moon Knight.
Moon Knight's amazing.
There was some like talk of like if these Netflix shows keep going on, who's the character we most want to see get their own
Yes.
show?
Moon Knight.
The one I saw the most come up was Moon Knight.
Moon
Yeah.
Knight.
Is this the Garth Ennis?
This is Warren Ellis.
Or Warren Ellis, I'm sorry.
So what's interesting is when they brought Moon Knight back as part of the fairly recently with the Marvel Now stuff, he was initially the creative team was Warren Ellis and Declan Shalvey, and they did an awesome run of 6 stories that were sort of their own individual little stories of Moon Knight punching evil in its stupid face, and that was awesome. And then the second volume, Brian Wood and Greg Smallwood take over.
Oh, dang.
And it gets even better.
Well, Brian Wood, one of my
Yeah.
favorite authors in comic books.
But I mean, his runs, and I think he's continuing now beyond I mean, Ellis did the first run, and then now it's Brian Wood and this guy, and it's so good.
I
It's
just started
so
reading
awesome.
his. This will be my recommendation in a couple of weeks. His Star Wars book. Oh, it's so good,
Yeah.
so freaking good.
Awesome.
That was one of the last Dark Horse comics.
Oh
before.
wait. Yes, no, I've read this. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian Wood. Yeah, it's great. It's a great Star Wars run. But yeah, his Moon Knight is so awesome. The fights in this comic are I don't. It's like the Daredevil show or something. It feels like that, or the Raid or something like that. There's in the Ellis run. There's a one where they've kidnapped somebody, and it's in like a high rise or like multi-level apartment, And he's just like, all right, what, he beats up a guy. He's like, what level is the person on? It's like, level 5, floor 5. And he's like, all right. And then he's just like, first floor. And you see him beat up all these guys. And he's like, second floor.
Awesome.
Boom, boom, boom. And he just keeps going. And that's it. Then it's just pages and pages of Moon Knight tearing through guys.
And it's Warren Ellis, so I'm assuming he does some crazy shit with Moon Knight's like alternate personality stuff.
Yeah, there's some super surreal stuff in this run. And it
Awesome.
continued into the Brian Wood stuff. There's
Cool.
some really trippy stuff in there.
That's always been my favorite part about Moon Knight, how he is a pretty street level vigilante. Like, he's a guy in a mask beating up crooks. He's no real, on the surface level, he's not really any different than Batman or like Daredevil, but there's this weird complex story going on inside of his head that I love.
In one of the Warren Ellis issues, there's a thing where there's a villain who's connecting people's dreams, so they're all in like a shared dream state.
Uh-oh.
And then Moon Knight has to fight his way through all the individual dreams
Oh man,
in this crazy dreamscape place.
great.
That's awesome and super trippy.
I'll
if you're
check
into
this out.
Warren
Have
Ellis
you guys
stuff.
read
Oh,
the,
it's so good.
the Bendis run on Moon Knight?
Yes. The
That's
Bendis
really
stuff
great,
is really
too.
great too. So yeah, just go check out Moon Knight because he's awesome.
He's really, really cool.
Doug Moench run is
But you're
really
right.
good
He
as
is.
well.
I think he's a very not talked about enough and underrated Marvel character.
He's a super cool character.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go check out those comics and let us know if you read them and if you like them. And you can do that by finding us on Twitter. We're at Panel on Panels. We're on Facebook as Panel on Panels. You can email us, panelonpanels@gmail.com. And of course, you can listen to us by subscribing to us on iTunes. And if you could rate and review us on there, that would be wonderful.
You can also just pick the RSS feed just straight off our website.
You could do that too.
But if you're
Also
on
works.
iTunes, maybe leave us a review.
If you want to.
That would be great.
We got the time.
Because it does really help people who podcast, like us.
It really does. It very much does. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for yet another episode of Panel on Panels. We keep making these, and we're assuming people listen to them.
In defiance of God and those who stand against us, we keep making Panel on Panels.
No,
true.
we do it for the thumbs up on recommendations and nacho cheese. You think you got that a little mixed up.
No, we can do it for those things, but we do it in defiance
Oh, okay.
of God and the people who stand
Nacho
against
cheese
us.
in
Two
defiance
levels.
of God?
Right.
2 levels, yeah.
7-Eleven.
That's actually very true.
Yep, very true. All right, so for Panel on Panels this week, I've been John Campbell.
I am currently Mike Gorgoni.
And I will always be Donovan Eiler.
Keep reading comics, everyone. And remember, #Archie is our stalwart.
#Archie is our stalwart.
#Archie is our stalwart.